we were out there start of February 2 years ago, I think, and eventually the match was called off, but they were watering the pitch still, despite it being freezing.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. That's completely gone from my mind, that one.
That's because you've not got your black and white glasses on.
Well, yeah. I genuinely can't remember that at all. So I was thinking, when was the last postponement? And that was the Beast from the East, and then that just made me think of Phil Nadin, and then I didn't. Nothing else could fit into my mind about games that were called off. But yeah, no way. Do you want to take us through the standings at this stage of the season?
So it's early days still, but Hull FC and Castleford break out at the top, both with 2 from 2. Next come St Helens, Huddersfield, Warrington, Hull KR, Wigan and Salford as the one-win sides. Yet to get off the mark are Wakefield, Catalans, Leeds and bottom place Toronto, who are the only side who have lost 2 from 2 played.
Stat line of the week, I think we'll give that to Reece Williams. It's always nice to give it to a player on a winning side, and with him going over 200 metres, we'll give it to him. So 1 try and 202 metres. What about player of the week, Sarah?
Well, I mean, Mark Sneed, some great stats there, isn't it? 1 try, 3 try assists. Was it 4 goals and a drop goal? Pretty impressive.
Do you know what? I've got Snyder's mine as well.
There we go then.
Yeah. I just think, like we were talking about, is really enjoying playing behind that pack. It's allowing him to feel more composed, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think so.
And also, I wonder, is there a big difference for him playing alongside Connor rather than Kelly? Is he a factor in the Connor getting the 6 jersey situation? Maybe, because Connor draws so much attention in so many ways.
Possibly, but then I think Kelly draws a lot of attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose there's similarities, isn't there?
You can play Sneed and Connor or Sneed and Kelly, but you can't play Connor and Kelly.
Yeah.
Because they're too similar.
Well, I think... sorry.
No, I was just going to say they're both off-the-cuff players, whereas Sneed's the more grounded, more sort of thought-out player, I think.
I think they are both off-the-cuff players, like you say. I think what Connor's better at than Kelly is Connor's a really good kicker of the ball in an all-round sense.
Yeah.
So, wherever you are on the field, if you got the ball on the last tackle 10 metres out from the line, yeah, Kelly can put in a great kick.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Connor can kick the ball well anywhere on the pitch on the last tackle.
Connor will kick a 40-20 for you, whereas I don't recall Kelly doing that.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has done in his time and that sort of stuff, but I think Connor can do more on the last tackle that Sneed can also do, which actually helps Sneed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
And I think Sneed's enjoying playing, like say, behind a big pack and with a little bit less pressure on himself, a little bit maybe less expectation on himself. I think he's doing great, and I think this game was one of his best. Highlight of the week, though, for me was the Ben Crooks try. You're not going to like that, are you?
My highlight of the week was full time on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm sure the walk across the park and everything was a lot of fun for everyone wearing black and white, especially those in black and white that were bumping into their friends and loved ones in red and white.
Yeah, we did see Joshua's coach at the other end of the bridge, who's a Rovers fan.
See, or make sure you intentionally ran into to take the mick out of.
he was waiting at the other end of the bridge, I think, for friends. So yeah, we didn't actually go hunting. Just
a pleasant, nice, happy accident, as it were.
Yes.
So in the predictions, I was 2 out of 4. Tim was 1 out of 4 because he admitted it at the time as well, but foolishly went for his own side. In the host Superoo, though, Alan tops the 4-way league there.
That's because he hasn't got a dog in the fight, isn't it? So you can actually be unbiased.
Maybe so. Maybe you got a point there. He's actually not playing in the full Super Brew because he won it last year, and he said that he was retiring from it as the champion. So there you go. So the person leading the way this year is Steve Pye still, who's a Hull FC fan who we've started to hear a lot from this season. So it's great to have you on board, Steve. So Steve's still leading the way in the Super this week. In the Fantasy League, it's Leeds fan Paul Wilson who's at the top of the table, although Wigan fan Phil White had the best weekly score of 602.
That's not a bad score.
So thanks to everyone who got in touch on those games. Great coverage, especially of the two televised games, but really cool to have fan reviews in on the other two games as well to help round out our views of those games. Make sure you get your fan views in on the Google Forms next week. We'll see the links after the games pop up on your Twitter feeds. If I'm aware and stuff, I'll make sure I put something on Facebook too. Also, thanks to everyone who told me that games were cancelled when the automatic tweets popped up to ask for fan views. That was something I needed to read when I woke up from my.
It was uncalled for, really, wasn't it?
I don't
like
think
Tom
people do that.
Andrews.
I've been in and out of slumber and fever all afternoon on Sunday. Maybe I reacted to it a little bit more sharply than I would normally. But yeah, I didn't need that. I was like, I worked fucking hard enough to put this show together, and one thing goes wrong when I'm asleep. Anyway, thanks to everyone for that.
Tom, you've caused Mark's demise.
There you go. Right, we're going to move on to other results now. We have plenty because we've got the Championship and some Challenge Cup to go through.
So it was round 2 in the Championship this weekend, and it finished a big win for Lee, who's 58 points to Sheffield's 10, and Toulouse with 58 against Oldham 6, and it was 36-20 in the London against Whitehaven match.
Which we got a couple
and we had some reviews on that one.
Yeah, and Paul Chamberlain said, "Not quite what I had in mind when I said I wanted to be blown in my Broncos shirt for my birthday. However, a solid 2 points, even if we made hard work of it against one of the weaker sides in the division. Hopefully the new players will start gelling in the coming weeks so we can show off some improvements before we play better opposition. Good to see Jordan Williams, another London product, making his debut." And Dr. Hideous said, "Broncos couldn't complete a set for the first 20, but defended well. A flurry of completed sets around 20 minutes meant points, but too many stupid penalties prevented any more, and also let Whitehaven back into the game. 10-14 at the break in horrid weather. Second half, Whitehaven started well, but then the Broncos were utterly dominant. Dixon or Lovell should have got man of the match instead of Batty, who had a shocker." Yeah, I listened to the second half on the radio, and I was surprised when I could hear in the background that Eddie Batty got man of the match, because I didn't hear the commentators say his name once. It was.
Do you think it was the case that it was the person that the sponsors knew?
It must have been the sponsor, the matchday sponsor was his sponsor, because otherwise I don't understand. But it was Cumbrian, Radio Cumbria, so it was their commentary, so they're not going to talk as much about the Broncos players, but he didn't come up as a problem for them to be having to deal with. But anyway, there you go.
You wonder whether the lead that Whitehaven took was because of the horrid weather, because they're more acclimatised to it.
Possibly, yeah. I think it's certainly impressive. When I turned it on, I think it was 20 points to 10 to Whitehaven, and I really didn't understand what was happening, and I thought it was like a fever dream I was having because I
Along
was
with Dan Sargison.
ill. But no, it was not. It was true. But there you go.
Yep. So it also finished Widnes 32, Batley 12. I mean, the conditions at Widnes looked really bad, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did you see any pictures?
Yeah, I saw the pictures. I saw some video footage as well of the rain sweeping in early on in the game. But well, throughout the game really, it was just wet. But POB 1976 said, "Another good win by the Vikings in tough conditions for both teams. A tight first half with Widnes leading by 4 at the break. When a deluge came in the second half, it was Widnes that responded better to the conditions. Credit to both sets of fans who had to travel for this game." Yeah, you're right about the weather looking really bad. I suppose it's one of the benefits of the having the plastic pitch.
Yeah.
The two games that went ahead on Sunday in the Championship were two games on artificial pitches.
Yeah, I suppose, London is sort of a lot further, wasn't necessarily in the same
No.
amount of attack at that point as the Northern games.
No, true.
So Swinton against Dewsbury, Featherstone against Allen, and York against Bradford were all postponed.
In the
There's a lot of
standings.
complaint about how
Sorry.
late the York-Bradford match was postponed. I saw that outrage about how long it took before it was postponed.
Oh, right. What was the story there? I was asleep.
Well, I think it was just Bradford fans particularly were getting very annoyed with the York club and saying it's ridiculous you're taking this long, until somebody pointed out it's not actually York that get to make that call. It's the match commissioner.
Right. Yeah.
I just saw a lot of them getting irate that they were ready to set off and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Which you can understand both sides.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's really frustrating, and the clubs and the officials want to do their best to get games on, but at the same time, they don't want to play them in unsafe conditions. I think the best thing is more and more becoming calling them off early, because supporter safety is becoming more paramount even than player safety, because the fans are going to sue if they fall over in a puddle outside nowadays. So in terms of your compliance and your risk assessments and all those sorts of things. So that is a surprise that it took that long for people to get together to call it off. If it did mean it was only an hour or so before kick-off, but I
think it was maybe an hour and a half or so.
I don't know how far it is from Bradford to York. About 3 times as far as Bradford to Dewsbury. I don't know.
I've got no idea. Moving on to the standings.
Yes, Leigh, Toulouse, Widnes and London all enjoyed 2 from 2 starts. Featherstone, Swinton and Halifax are the other teams with wins. 7 clubs are yet to win though: Bradford, York, Dewsbury, Whitehaven, Batley, Sheffield and Oldham, with the last 4 being none from 2.
So it was also round 3 of the Challenge Cup this weekend, and Rochdale Mayfield 6, North Wales 64.
Yeah, and this one was on... Was this one on our league or on BBC? I can't remember. BBC, I think this one
was on... Okay.
Anyway, we could see this one on the internet. Mark Butler said, a comfortable win for Crusaders in the end, not to be sniffed at after last year's disaster at Thatto Heath. Even at 4-0 for quite a long time, an upset never seemed on the cards, with Crusaders dominant all over, but littering potential scoring opportunities with errors until Mayfield ran out of puff and the floodgates opened. Noted what must be the first flag for Welsh independence in Rochdale's history too. Carsten said, strong defence by Mayfield in the first half, but the Crusaders still scored 3 tries. The second showed the difference in fitness by amateurs and part-timers, as North Wales blew the score out. Oh, and a German heritage player scored a try. That'll be Brad Billsborough, then.
Yep. It finished Thornhill 20, Doncaster 24.
That's quite a close scoreline.
It was really tight until the end. I'm sure that last try was getting on in the match.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously Doncaster are a team that a lot of people, including most of us, were tipping to do well in League One this year. Yeah. And that's close. Anyway.
It finished Siddle 10, West Hull 6, and the Army 34, Ince Rose Bridge 22.
This was the other game on one of the platforms. Carsten said, Army with a strong start, but IRB started to build pressure after this and earned their 2 tries in the first half. Very strong half from the Army. Is being Fijian and a selection criteria for the British Army, and do they build an army of wingers?
So it was also Leigh Minor Rangers 20, Bentley 4, West Wales 8, Underbank 30, Hunslet 36, Coventry 4.
That is a big spanking at home for West Wales.
It is, yeah.
Bad start to the year for them.
Yeah, and Barrow against London Scholars, Keighley against Newcastle, Rochdale against York Acorn, and Workington against West Burling were all postponed.
So we